Welcome to Sweet Talk. This broadcast is brought to you by the Continuing Education Workforce Training Division of Idaho State University's College of Technology. This podcast is part of our continuing outreach efforts, and the format is conversational. We will be having conversations with businesses, professionals, entrepreneurs, community agencies, and, in all cases, difference makers. Now, let's get started with Sweet Talk.
Welcome everyone to Sweet Podcast. Thanks for joining. I'm Shirley Hawkins, Events Coordinator for Idaho State University's Continuing Education and Workforce Training, known as SWEET. Joining us today is Garth Lamson, SWEET's Irish Language and Cultural Instructor. Our format is conversational and the focus is on our topic and guest for the next 20 minutes. The clock started with the welcome. After 20 minutes, no matter where we're at in the conversation, we're done. So Garth, welcome to SWEET. Please tell us about yourself.
Well, my name's Garth Lamson. I started here at ISU in 1988, and they've never been able to get rid of me. Yeah, I went from being my undergrad, my master's. I'm working on finishing up a PhD in the English department. I've taught in the anthropology department a little bit, Celtic languages. In the English department, their comp classes, and with continuing ed, Irish language, intro to Irish language.
Cool.
Yeah.
So how did you get started? Well, you just said that you were graduate school and master's and all that you got here. And are you from Ireland?
No, I'm not. I'm from central Idaho, but my ancestry is heavily Irish, Scots and Irish. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yep.
Do we have a strong Irish community here local?
You know, surprisingly, we do. It oftentimes doesn't seem that way, but because of our connections with Montana and then with Idaho's mining history, many of those early miners from, say, the 1850s, 60s, 70s, and then even after 1900 were they were the liminal people, the people on the edges of Europe. So you ended up with the Cornish miners and Welsh and Irish, Scottish, Serbian, Croatian. So you ended up with these little pocket communities all throughout Idaho and Montana, and every once in a while you see reverberations of those languages, which is how, it's not the only way I got into Irish, but that became a focus for me. Yeah.
Now, every once in a while I hear rumblings about a hoolie.
A hoolie, yeah.
So tell us about
So a hoolie is a community gathering. So think of these, small communities in rural parts of Ireland, pretty, heavily vegetated, denuded of forests after about 1670, but still is very hard to get into some of those little valleys and areas, especially in the west of the Ireland, where we have a tour coming up in June where we'll be there. Yeah, but the hoolie itself it's the sense of a community coming together, from out in the farms, and they would come together and they would share food and music. There would be Shawnee, which are the traditional storytellers there as well. Yeah, and this year at our hoolie, the Consul General from the San Francisco Consulate for Ireland may be at this hoolie at the end of March.
Cool.
Yeah.
Now, I heard you drop a little bit of a hint about a trip in June.
Yes.
So would you want to
So
elaborate a
I
little
would
bit more on
I would
that?
love to elaborate on that. So
yours.
No, it's continuing education. You people are wonderful, absolutely wonderful. It's been a real dream of mine to try and get that in place for Idaho State, but I've never had the resources, kind of being a one-man band in a way. University of Montana's had a tour that they've had in place that funds much of their Irish language program they've done it for about 10 years. And I'm very good friends with Irish Studies Director, Dr. Trellick O'Riordan. He's from Cork. He's a Gaeilgeoir, which is an Irish speaker. And he took some Pocatello people a couple of years ago. I think we had 6 or 7 who went. And he's wanted us to have this source of funding and this source of real culture here in Pocatello. So he agreed to do it. And I've set that up with him through continuing ed. It's great. Yeah.
Now, on this trip, do the participants need passports?
They do need passports. They need passports. I would really, I've spoken with one of your colleagues about having a few information meetings starting in February.
Yes.
Yeah, so, some people have questions about insurance, so I'll be able to answer those. Passports, things as simple as what kind of shoes. High heels don't work the best on some of the tours.
You don't think?
Well, no.
What about the dances they do?
Well, that's a good point. That's only when you're on top of a barrel. So, yeah. There actually is. There's something called a barrel dance. It's a Sean Nose type of a dance, and it really looks cool. Yeah, but I don't think I could drink enough to get on the barrel.
Yes, we have a question.
Okay.
So what sort of things are people going to be doing on the Irish trip? Are you going to be seeing like some like famous scenes? Going to be visiting like local culture, restaurants, pubs, etc.?
Yes. I can say that. So it's a smaller tour. It's limited to 20 people, which means we're going to be on not a small bus, but the larger tour buses that are over 40 people, they can't get on the small roads. So we'll be on a mid-sized bus, very nice. I want to stress that it's a very nice accommodation there. But we'll be seeing the geography of the place. We start off actually in a place called the Burren in the west coast of Ireland, in the Cliffs of Moher. We'll be able to see out across the Aran Islands and into Galway, city of the tribes. And there's absolutely one of the most amazing streets. It's called Quay Street, Quay. It's how it's spelled. So anybody who's watching this, look up Quay Street in Galway. And from there it's on to castles, Kylemore Abbey. Amazing history with battle sites and shopping and amazing food as well. The pub environment, it's very different from the sense of an American bar. It's just erase that from your mind because there's food, there's a lot of music, and we'll be in smaller areas. So the pubs that we'll be at, we'll be able to see that real traditional Irish music. Yeah.
For people who are going on this trip,
Mm-hmm.
Are there societal expectations in Ireland that you should not do as a tourist? Like, are there certain things that you should avoid doing? You're not saying, look at the morning to you.
Yeah, like asking maybe about Lucky Charms, right? That's always a bad one. Yeah, top of the morning to you. Yeah, no, I only say that. The only time I ever say top of the morning to you is when we get Fulbright language teaching assistants here from Ireland, and when they all can affect an American accent perfectly, right, from our movies. So then I say to them, "Oh, top of the morning to you," and then they quit. So no, I mean, it's just the regular stuff. There's no country in Europe that is as connected with America as Ireland. Honestly, I mean, there's percentage-wise more people are of English and German descent, but do you see any real English events? No, but you see those with the Irish diaspora. So, another question.
So I'm from Boston.
Yep. Oh, the Boston Irish. Okay, right on.
So in Boston, Massachusetts, we're really connected to
Absolutely.
Ireland. And basically, it's like almost like a back and forth. So,
It is.
and a lot of our political history is connected with Irish politicians that took power in the early days.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, and second generation Irish myself.
Oh, cool. Get your citizenship. Yeah.
I got
You
my
still can.
citizenship. No.
Yeah. No, you're Irish citizen.
Irish, really?
Yeah. A lot of people don't realize that that's a possibility. But yeah, if you have an Irish grandparent, you can apply for Irish citizenship,
Really?
and it has some amazing benefits. Absolutely, the ability to work, the ability to study, some of those things. But yeah, Boston and New York kind of compete with that. When one of the areas we're going to be is Dingle and Dangan in Irish, and it's the farthest west parish in Europe, and they all say, depending on where their families went, the next parish over is Boston. Next parish over is New York. So yeah, it's kind of a funny thing there. Yeah, and then Boston, received so many people from the famine. Which is an amazing thing. But there were different waves of Irish immigration.
Well, that's something I wanted to touch on with you because a lot of people they got came from Ireland. They got off the boat and they stayed right there. But you're saying a lot of them went west.
Absolutely.
To do the mining. And
Yeah.
is it just that that's the background that they came from?
So those, and we'll be covering this in the tour. So some of those immigrants were from the Jacobite Rebellion, 1715, 1745, even the Wolf Tone Rebellion of 1798. Some were actually, they had certificates of indenture issued, and they were kind of traded out of the British Isles into the colonies, if you will, which was a horrible thing, or just sent as prisoners to various colonies. There are different waves of immigration, and that's something to keep in mind. And we'll actually be covering a lot of that on the tour.
So it's nice. So are you the person hosting the tour? I mean, as far as giving all the information as we go along, or do you have someone from the area who's maybe doing it or co-doing it?
That'll be Dr. Trellick O'Riordan. He's from Cork. He teaches at the University of Montana. This will be his 11th year of doing these tours. He's slightly older than me, but looks significantly younger than me. So, yeah. And he and I are very good friends. And I'll be offering my insights. And ISU wants to move toward that of offering our own tours. And that's what I'm going to be doing this year a lot is, getting the feel for how a tour operates.
How many times have you been over Thailand?
6.
6. Wow.
Yeah. I try to. Yeah. Well, if you go over, and this is something that people will find because this is so different than a commercial tour. We'll literally be in friends' homes. So in Liston Varna, we'll be having meals with a family that is they're actually relatives of Trellick. So we'll be hearing stories, hearing traditional music. And then in the Dingle Peninsula, I know a lot of people there. Trellick knows a lot of people there. People on the tour will be having conversations with the locals. And once you make those connections, it's very easy to return. I haven't stayed in a motel since 2006.
Yeah, my brother went over there in the late 80s, and they were doing a walking tour, just 2 people.
Mm-hmm.
And they wound up with not having a hotel, and his family just invited them to stay with them.
It happens.
Yeah.
It really does. Yeah, and that's the nice thing about this tour. With just 20 people, you'll really be able to find the things that you want to on this tour. We'll have time for that. So people who are really into the pub culture and that trad music, they'll have some heavy exposure to that. History nuts will be able to immerse themselves in the various rebellions and ruins and castles and manors.
So this is more like the smaller villages, not bigger cities.
Right. Well, like I said, we'll be in Galway, the city of the tribes,
Okay.
right? Which is, it's an amazing place. I don't know. I think of it really a lot like Pocatello. It's just a bit more compact. Their cities aren't as spread out, but it has somewhat of a similar feel. People are very friendly there. The shopping, it's a walking city mostly. I mean, of course, there's a lot of driving, but like Key Street is closed off. There are 4 or 5. There's more than that. I can't think of how many streets that are actually closed off. It's the big shopping area, and they're these beautiful little shops. Key Street. Remember, anybody who hears that, look that up. That alone would make you want to go. Pictures of it are so cool.
Now I know people are going to want to say, how much is the trip? And do I have to come up with the full amount on Johnny on the spot?
No, they don't have to come up with full amount. I mean, eventually they do, but initially, initially,
On that bus.
yeah, initially it's a $300 deposit, I believe, is what it is. Yeah, and then the tour itself is $19.99, which is compared with the larger tours, that's $600 to $700 cheaper. It really is. And these small, it's almost a personalized tour, those are very, very expensive. So people are getting a lot of value out of this because we're not doing it for profit. That's not the intent here. The intent is to bring this to the Pocatello community, Southeast Idaho.
So you say $19.99 for the trip.
Yeah.
How much would you suggest someone bring for out-of-pocket money while they're on?
Yeah. Well, all right. So that's a little different. Commercial tours, you spend a lot of time stopping at gift shops. It's touristy stuff. So once, like on a commercial tour, once you've been through 2 or 3 of them, you're done at about $250 because everybody seems like they buy a wool sweater, which they never wear. They put it in the closet. It's a thing. Everybody who goes to Ireland is like, oh, a wool sweater. And then they have to buy it. On this, though, while there won't be all those stops like that, there's going to actually be some more opportunity for some actual shopping, especially in Galway and in Dingletown. It's hard to say, but you'll definitely drop some money on some souvenirs. A few $100.
Okay, and they'll be spending their own money for meals?
No, most of the meals are included.
Oh, okay.
I would need to look at the itinerary, or anybody
Excellent.
viewing this can look at the itinerary and see that, most of the meals are included.
Excellent.
But part of that is you want to go and find your own restaurant sometimes.
Yeah.
There's another. Oh.
Culturally, what does Ireland offer that most people don't really think about Ireland offering? Of course, people know Guinness, potatoes,
Those things. Yes, that's the connection with Idaho. Yeah, it's. I would say it's the storytelling, the music, the language, and not in any particular order. Every child plays an instrument. They start with a fadog, which is a tin whistle, but along with that goes the ability to sing songs, both in English and in Irish. And if they're in one of the Irish schools, which is a huge movement in Ireland, so primary and secondary education, about 10% is delivered only in the Irish language. But those kids develop this sense of being able to sing and perform and play and interact. They're just, it's often said, the Irish are natural born storytellers. But they're really taught. I mean, they're taught from a very young age. And then even if you have what's called a couple of focal, few words of Irish, and you say, Digwich, hello, right? They'll say, Dias Morguit, back to you. They'll respond, and if you say, share something about your language, they'll share some story about their language. The conversations are immediate and heartfelt. That's what I find.
So, Garth, I think as a culture in the United States, one of the perceptions we have ingrained in our brain about Ireland is the film The Quiet Man.
Mm-hmm.
How close, how far?
Oh, a bridge too far. Yeah, just a little bit. But here's the thing: is for Irish Americans, like I'm 3rd generation Irish American, right? I still hear those stories, and it becomes romanticized in your heart because of the simple. It's not simple, but because of those stories of persecution and abandonment and leaving and heartache. There's this longing literally for the land, because with the clearances, landlords kicked the Irish off of their land, burned their cottages. It was absolutely horrible. So The Quiet Man takes place in Connemara. I think we actually will be going by the original Quiet Man cottage. You can go in there and see the creepy Maureen O'Hara and John Wayne. They're these wax type statues, but they're not wax. You're just kind of like, whoa, that's jolting. Wow. That's odd. Yeah. And I'm not sure. I know we'll be driving on the motorway. Well, it's not a motorway. It's just a two-lane road, which is actually to us a 1-lane road, by the bridge. The famous bridge that he is standing on, looking at what is it, Whiteamorn, I think is the name of the cottage.
I believe so.
Yeah, so it's much of it. The races, those races still take place every summer. Seems like every strand, or Tra, which is a beach, has one of those kind of races that you saw in The Quiet Man. I'm not making that up. It still looks just like that.
Wow.
Yeah, except for the ribbon at the end. Right, but or the ribbon at the beginning. And then the Galway races are actually their world famous races. But yes, I don't know. There's something. There are some things in it, right?
I know it's a romanticized version, but I look at that film and to me it screams Irish.
Yeah. It does. I mean, that's part of what the Irish condition is about. So.
Okay. We've talked about Irish, we've talked about how much a trip's going to cost, how many people can go. I know people are going to say, how can I get there?
Is that your timer going off?
No, I've got another minute. Sit down. I'm
Whose timer's
good.
going off?
It's not mine.
This one?
I don't know.
It's a phone.
Someone's got a phone.
I turned my phone off.
Ah, gotcha.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
anyway,
Continue.
Airfare. Is that where you're going?
Airfare, yes.
Yes. So airfare.
how they get there and where do they?
Yeah, so this is imperative. You have to leave a day early. So our tour starts on the second. You leave America on the first. Okay, and it's an overnight flight. Yeah, that's it. So you want to be into Shannon Side Airport. SNN is the airport code for that. Before 11 o'clock a.m. on the second.
June 2nd.
Yeah.
So this is something you're gonna be talking about at some informational meetings.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Yes.
And
So
how
starting.
can we find out about those informational meetings if we're interested in going to those? Shirley or?
Well, once they get set up with Garth, then we will email those on the interested list. And then once people pay us, then we'll let them know that here's the meetings that they can attend. From what I understand, they don't have to attend all of them, but at least one is required.
Okay, so informational meetings, they should just call into the suite
Yeah, then call
office,
into suite
and
two.
then once we gain their information, we'll know and be able to talk to them, tell them about that.
Uh-huh,
Cool.
okay.
So how do they get into that interested list?
They just call our office, 208-282-3372, or go, just call into the office and we'll ask you for your name, your email address, and a phone number. And with the email address, we will email you an itinerary and also the dates and times of the informational meetings.
But they do need to put down that how much to save.
$300 will save your spot on the bus.
And the total cost is $19.99.
Uh-huh. And $300, we need to have it by, I can't remember off the top of my head, April 3rd, and then the full payment by the 1st of May. That way we know we've got 20 people, that we're good to go, and if we need to do any cancellations, then we take care of that. So Garth, as we can tell, our time is up.
Yes. Wow.
It's fast, wasn't it?
Double arm. Yeah.
Thank you for taking your time to talking with us today, and we hope our audience has gained some new insight from the conversation and what promises to be a fabulous trip to Ireland. I want to go. You can find online information at CETrain, and that's CETrain, like choo-choo train, .isu.edu, or call us at 208-282-3155, and we'll be more than glad to answer your questions. If you ask us a question and we don't know the answer, we'll do the footwork, we'll find out the answer, and we'll get right back to you. So, thanks again for being part of Sweet Talk.
Garth, do you have any organization or something that you have on Facebook that you like to promote?
If anybody wants to question me directly, hopefully not under bright lights or anything, irishidaho@ymail.com. They can just send me a note. irishidaho, one word, @ymail.com.
Excellent.
Yeah, so great.
So that's Y, letter Y or WHY?
Letter Y. Yeah, Y mail. Oh, yeah, there. That's
Why
good.
mail?
Yeah,
Why
Y mail.
mail?
It's you who's efforts to thwart my life. So,
Thank you. Cool, thanks a lot, man.
yeah.